How do billionaires get rich during a recession while the rest of us are struggling to stay afloat? It's time to pull back the curtain and expose the secret strategies that the ultra-wealthy use to thrive during the worst economic times. And no, it's not magic, and it's certainly not luck. You won't hear about this on the news, but today I'm about to tell you exactly how billionaires get richer when the economy crashes, and how you can start thinking like them. Are you ready to change your financial mindset forever? Let's dive in. When a recession hits, the majority of people panic. They cut back on spending, they stop investing, and they hold on to their savings like it's the last life raft on a sinking ship. But billionaires? They do the exact opposite. They know that recessions are actually opportunities to make a fortune. And guess what? This isn't just some theory. I'm talking about real, proven strategies that billionaires have used during past recessions to increase their wealth by hundreds of millions of dollars. Are you ready to hear the secret? Billionaires don't fear a recession, they embrace it. Why? Because they know that when the economy crashes, it opens up a fire sale on assets. Stocks, businesses, real estate, all of these things get cheaper when people are scared. While the average person is frantically trying to protect their 401k, billionaires are out there buying up discounted assets. They know that the downturn is temporary, and in the long term, the value of those assets will skyrocket once the economy rebounds. You're thinking, wait, how are they able to buy all this stuff? Well, here's the first trick. They don't need to use their own money. Leverage is their best friend. When times are tough, billionaires use other people's money to make investments. They take out loans, use low interest rates, and borrow against assets they already own. Then they buy up undervalued businesses, stocks, or real estate. It's like going shopping with someone else's credit card. But instead of shopping for shoes, they're buying up companies that are destined to become huge once the recession ends. The best part? When those assets appreciate, they keep all the profits. How crazy is that? Chunk 2. And here's something really juicy. Billionaires know how to use fear to their advantage. When everyone else is selling their stocks, their houses, and their businesses out of sheer panic, billionaires buy. Why? Because they know that panic creates bargains. Think about it. When everyone else is fleeing, the rich are buying up properties for pennies on the dollar. During the 2008 financial crisis, some of the world's wealthiest people made their fortunes by buying distressed real estate at rock-bottom prices. By the time the economy bounced back, they were sitting on millions of dollars in profits, and they didn't break a sweat while everyone else was scrambling to keep their heads above water. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a strategy for the faint of heart. You've got to be willing to take calculated risks. And you need to have the knowledge, the timing, and the right resources to make these deals work. But here's the thing, the rich don't guess, they're prepared. They're not just sitting there with their fingers crossed, hoping the market recovers. Billionaires hire the best analysts, the smartest economists, and the sharpest minds to study the market and pinpoint the best opportunities. So, what can you learn from this? Preparation is everything. If you want to be like the rich, you need to be preparing now for the next recession. But wait, here's another insider tip. Billionaires use their connections to make even more money during a recession. You see, while most people are hoarding cash and staying away from risky ventures, the ultra-wealthy are tapping into their networks to make smart moves. They get access to exclusive deals and private investments that most people will never hear about. They're buying stakes in startups, tech companies, and innovative businesses that are poised for growth once the economy turns around. Are you connected to the right people? That's another lesson you need to take away from this. Start building your network now, because when a recession hits, your connections could be worth more than gold. And let's talk about the psychology of billionaires for a second. They think differently than you and me. They understand that wealth is not created during times of stability. It's created during chaos. They're constantly looking for ways to exploit uncertainty. When everyone else is tightening their belts, they're opening up their wallets and buying up anything that looks undervalued. They know that wealth isn't just about earning money. It's about knowing where to put your money and how to make it grow during the most challenging times. They see a crisis as a chance to double down, while others see it as a reason to run. And here's the crazy part. Many billionaires actually hope for recessions. Yep, you heard me right. They know that the economic downturn is an inevitable part of the cycle, and it's the perfect time to buy assets at a discount. Think about it like this. If you had the chance to buy a brand new Ferrari for 50% off, would you hesitate? Absolutely not. Billionaires know that recessions are like flash sales for the wealthy. where they can stock up on assets that will explode in value when the market recovers. But how do they stay calm while everyone else is losing their minds? It's all about their mindset. Billionaires don't let the media, the panic, or the fear of the unknown sway them. They have a long-term vision and understand that temporary losses are just part of the game. They don't get caught up in the day-to-day volatility. They see the bigger picture. When the rest of the world is screaming, everything's crashing, first they're quietly making moves that position them for massive gains once the dust settles. So here's the million-dollar question. How can you start using recessions to your advantage and start thinking like the billionaires? Well, the good news is you don't have to be a millionaire to start. The key is mindset. You need to stop thinking like an employee, scared of losing your job, and start thinking like an investor, always on the lookout for opportunities. Start by educating yourself. Knowledge is the first step. Read books, follow market trends, and understand how different assets perform during recessions. You can't take advantage of opportunities if you don't know where to look. Then start small. You don't need millions of dollars to begin. Just start investing what you can. Whether it's real estate, stocks, or even starting your own business, the goal is to build your portfolio one step at a time. Remember, billionaires aren't smarter than you, they're just prepared. They know how to turn fear into profits, and that's the mindset shift you need to make. You can't sit on the sidelines and hope that the economy will recover on its own. You've got to get in the game, make smart decisions, and use the downturn to your advantage. The next recession will come. It's only a matter of time. Will you be ready to take advantage of it? Or will you be left behind while billionaires get richer? The choice is yours. Start preparing now and turn that financial fear into a fountain of opportunity. Now let's dive into why the rich can stay calm when everyone else is losing their minds. Recessions bring uncertainty, right? But uncertainty is exactly what billionaires thrive on. While the average person is worried about losing their job, missing out on opportunities, or watching their investments tank, the wealthy have a secret weapon. They prepare in advance. Billionaires aren't reacting to the crisis. They've already positioned themselves to take advantage of it, so how do they do it? They diversify, baby. During a recession, while most people are in survival mode, billionaires spread their money across multiple industries and assets. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. And that's why, even when one part of the market crashes, they have other investments that still hold strong. Some might be invested in real estate, others in stocks, tech, or even alternative assets like cryptocurrency. Billionaires know that the best way to weather any storm is by diversifying, because when one market is crashing, another one might be booming. For example, take a look at Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest investors on the planet. His strategy during recessions is to buy undervalued stocks in industries that are going through a downturn, but will eventually bounce back. And guess what? It works. While everyone else is selling off their shares at a loss, Warren Buffett swoops in, buying up quality stocks at discounted prices, positioning himself for huge gains when the economy recovers. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. And don't think for a second that they're just sitting around waiting for the perfect time to make a move. Billionaires are actively looking for opportunities right now. They know that during a recession, companies will be forced to cut costs, lay off employees, and sell off assets. And guess who buys those assets at a fraction of their worth? That's right, the rich. They grab real estate, startups, and failing companies that are in distress, knowing full well that once the market bounces back, those investments will soar in value. It's the perfect storm for billionaires. They're buying up businesses at a discount, investing in innovations, and placing themselves in positions where they'll reap massive rewards in the years to come. And the key here is that they understand the cycle. The rich don't fear recessions because they know the market always recovers. They're looking for short-term pain for the long-term gain. You have to remember, every recession is an opportunity. When things are cheap, that's when you buy. When everyone else is scared, that's when you strike. So what's the lesson here? Be prepared and diversify. Don't get caught up in the emotional panic of a downturn. Start looking at it as an opportunity to expand your wealth, rather than watching it disappear. If you do this right, you'll come out of the recession with more assets than you had going in. That's what the billionaires do, and you can too if you're ready to stop thinking small and start thinking big. Now let's talk about the real power behind a billionaire's ability to weather the storm and actually get richer during a recession. The power of knowledge and patience. You might think it's all about having the biggest checkbook, but no. It's all about being strategic with what you already have. Billionaires aren't just looking at the market today. They're thinking about the market tomorrow, next year, and 10 years from now. Here's the thing. During a recession, many businesses will panic and cut back on spending. They'll slash prices to stay afloat, they'll sell off inventory, and they'll lay off workers to save a buck. But do you know who's not panicking? The rich. They see this as a golden opportunity to buy high-quality assets for pennies on the dollar. While the majority of people are just trying to keep their heads above water, billionaires are focused on the future. They understand that the storm will eventually pass, and when it does, they'll be sitting on gold mines. What happens next? Well, these wealthy individuals don't just buy anything that's on sale. They're looking for high-value opportunities that have long-term growth potential. They make sure to research the markets, identify trends, and analyze how certain industries are likely to perform when the economy picks up again. They know which industries will survive the downturn and which ones will flourish once the recovery kicks in. They're in it for the long game. And guess what? You can do this too. It's all about developing a long-term mindset. Sure, you might face a lot of short-term setbacks. The market might crash and your investments could temporarily lose value. But when you think like the rich, you understand that this is just a temporary dip in the road to massive wealth. Billionaires know that these dips present opportunities to invest for the future, not to panic and run away. Take the real estate market, for example. Historically, the most successful real estate investors have made their money during recessions. Why? Because property values drop during economic downturns, which means billionaires can swoop in and buy at a discount. They don't worry about short-term drops in value, because they know that real estate is a long-term play. They're willing to hold on to their investments for years, and during that time, their properties appreciate in value as the economy recovers. And here's the best part. A key factor in these kinds of investments is patience. Billionaires understand that there's no get-rich-quick scheme here. They're building wealth over time, not overnight. They're in it for the long haul. They don't chase trends, they make strategic investments that will pay off years later. Are you willing to think that far ahead? Because that's the mindset you need if you want to truly build generational wealth. But it's not just about real estate. When the market is down, billionaires often turn to stocks and startups. They know that during a recession, companies are often undervalued, and this is when they can grab shares at prices that most people can't even imagine. As soon as the economy recovers, those stocks shoot up in value, and bam, they've just made a fortune. And here's a proven fact. Billionaires are not afraid to take risks as long as they're calculated risks. They invest in industries that others overlook, or even better, industries that everyone is avoiding because they're too risky. They don't shy away from the fear. Instead, they recognize it for what it is, a sign of opportunity. When others are fearful, the rich are greedy, because they know that fear makes assets cheap, and cheap means it's time to buy low. So are you ready to start thinking like the billionaires? Ready to be patient, strategic, and prepared for the opportunities that a recession brings? If you are, then you're on the right track. It's time to change your mindset from worrying about losing money to focusing on how to make money in any economic climate. You've got to train your brain to see recessions as wealth-building opportunities, not moments of crisis. Get ready, because the next recession may be right around the corner and the billionaires will be making their next big moves. Will you be there to seize the moment or will you miss out? The choice is yours.